Okay, folks, now that we've got that out of the way, let's get to business. What do we have for business on the table today? I'll tell ya. We're going to be looking at OpenAI's API endpoint. To put it differently, we're going to be using ChatGPT, but we're not going to be typing into the ChatGPT window. We're going to be using, like programming and stuff. And what exactly are we going to be doing? We're going to be looking at real estate brochures. Okay? So let's just kind of browse through them real quick. Let's start right here. Office space for lease. Okay, so, a bunch of details and stuff, right? Okay, what do we have here? Oh, how many do we have? It looks like they've got several because there's a range, right? Looks like maybe all of this space in C and D. Okay, I think I remember seeing one about C and D. Whatever. Oh, no, this one's C and D. Okay, warehouses, office. Okay, alright, a bunch of details. Notice how these are like totally differently formatted, right? However, notice how they also have images and layout charts, right? Structural plans, unit plans, layouts. What do we have up here? Wild, the radio station, Western whatever. Okay, Chinook Center. Okay, all right. Very good. So you're starting to get the idea of just exactly what we're working with here. My apologies, folks, if I wasn't zoomed in properly. Ooh, I wonder if this comes furnished. These are just your typical real estate brochures. This one is interesting because it has, a dozen listings, right? This one also has a lot of details, few pictures, maps, cool, random stats. So let's just kind of keep some of these details that we're seeing in mind. Again, this one has multiple listings. Okay, so let's close that up a little bit. How many do we have? We have 9 PDFs, okay? So these are just stats to bear in mind as we work through the exercise. So what are we going to be using? We're going to be using OpenAI, ChatGPT. We're going to be sticking to the 4.0 model, I think. Maybe we'll do some experiments with the 4.0 mini just to see. These ones are fairly quick, so that's good. We're going to be timing pandas, obviously, stuff from my env. What are we doing here? We're just, the usuals, getting our access to the API by providing our secret code. Now, it says it like this because I actually have my secret code hidden inside this file. That way I can do these videos or do stuff and my secret code isn't just totally available for everybody to see. So, that's handy. This just tells the Python script where to look for the brochures, in this folder right here. We've got an empty list initiated so that as we loop through the files in the PDF directory, for each file name in the directory, if the file name ends with PDF, because I don't know, maybe some other junk will get in here, then start doing this stuff, right? Now, what is this stuff? we're using PDF Miner. PDF Miner is just what was recommended to me by my secret sources. So there you have it, folks. If you're interested to know more about different libraries to get data out of PDFs, because PDFs are the notorious ones, right? They're the ones that are tricky to deal with, and that's on purpose, right? But just do a Google search, or you know what? Why don't you ask ChatGPT? Be like, tell me about all the PDF scraping tools and libraries that are available. And it will give you a list of like 50 of them. Trust me, because I know I did it. And it will give you the pros and cons of each and kind of like what their best use cases are. And so you can be like, oh, this is kind of similar to what I'm trying to do. And so that's actually what I did and how I chose PDF Miner. So give that a try, folks. ChatGPT, it's great. Anyways, so the PDF Miner, I've told it to look for text. That's all I'm looking at right now. Okay, so bear that in mind, and we'll see that in the outputs. We might even challenge the GPT to look for maybe like some of the plan diagrams that might have some numerical data associated with them or something. But let's just move on here. So this was just to get the text data out of the PDFs. Okay, so that was step one. Let's just go through the steps of what we're doing. We're telling the we're collecting the text data from the PDFs into here. Then we're gonna feed that into the GPT. Then we're gonna ask the GPT a bunch of questions. And if this sounds familiar to you, you're thinking like, that sounds like a RAG model. It's not, because it's not using a RAG framework. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to start simulating these RAGs, but without using these RAG frameworks. At the same time, I'm also trying to learn LangChain, but, you know, stuff's hard, right? Anyways, this is my timer. Again, just proving that I'm a legit customer. This is the model we're going to start with. So this is, or at least it was as of last night, their most advanced model. And you know what? I think today we're going to look at some costs. We're going to see, I'm going to show you guys what the actual usage costs are. Let's see if I have to log in again. Oh, sweet. Okay. So you can see right here that my spend so far is $1.38 from like various experiments. Okay. Now you've seen that I have 9 PDFs, and you've seen what they look like, and you're gonna see what we get out of them, and you're gonna see what it costs. Okay. So here I'm telling the system what their context is. You're a data analyst who collects data accurately from leasing brochure information. You are always accurate and never invent, extrapolate, assume, or infer data because you know that people could lose their homes if you provide bad data. Maybe I'm going to go like this. So businesses, if you provide bad data. Yeah, we'll go with that. Role, user. So that's me, okay? This is the system. So here I'm telling it, okay, here is a list of text taken from several leasing brochures. Okay, and so the text from all the combined brochures is inside here, okay? Now this is me giving it another set of instructions. The lease brochure data isn't uniform. Each lease brochure could be structured differently. You will need to be careful, but thorough. generate a table that has one record for each lease in each brochure in the list. Now, this sentence here might be causing me some trouble, and we'll see, okay? Each record should have, if and when provided, the address, unit, blah, 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 a bunch of stuff, and anything else you feel is pertinent. Provide Python code to generate a pandas data frame to a CSV file. Make sure you get every lease in each brochure, or some businesses might go bankrupt. You know what? I think I'm gonna go like that. Okay. Control S, save that. Okay, so this is the message that I've prepared, right? Okay. Or the prompt, right? That's the GPT prompt. That's the LLM prompt. This is the prompt that I'm going to feed to the AI, to the GPT, to, the model. Now this is where the response will go. This is what the sequence of, functions that OpenAI needs to read the stuff. Now, I don't fully understand this parameter yet. I haven't experimented very much. Maybe we'll do that today, because we've got some pretty standard outputs. But we've got the model assigned, we've got the messages, Now, the response will come in a bunch of computer code, right? Like, it's going to be a JSON response. So it gets cleaned up here, and then we just print it out. And my end timer. So it looks like we're ready to go, folks. Let's see what we get. So you can see that it has processed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. The string length of all the text combined is that many characters right here, 55,366. Now, I track that because, as you know, these LLM models, they'll rate limit you or bill you based on token use. Oh yeah, I love coffee. I'm addicted to it, I think. Anyways, tokens, I've heard estimates ranging from one token representing anywhere from 2 to 5 characters, string characters. My experiments tend to indicate that it's around 3.5. Last night I did a video and I got 3.25. So, that's why I track that, so that I can get an idea of how much my requests are going to cost, what the capacity of different models actually is, because you can go down the list of models and it's like, oh, this one has 30,000, oh, this one has 2,000, oh, this one has 1 million, but what does that really mean in terms of productivity, right? So that's why I track that stuff. Anyways, let's see what they gave us. Certainly below is the Python code, blah blah blah, saved to this code assumes that the text is stored in a list called brochures, blah blah blah. Okay, all right, so brochures. So see, okay, so it says, it uses tricky language here. It says this code assumes the text data is stored in a list called brochures. And so the first time I read that, when I was feeding it data like this, I got confused. Like, but I don't have one. I thought it was talking about what I was feeding it. And like, it doesn't read this, right? It only reads what I put here, right? Where is it? It only reads what I put in here, right? And there's nothing about the file name. I don't think that makes it into that list. just see. Yeah, see, it says PDF. The file, like the list name is PDF. So, I got confused by this kind of stuff. But when you look at this, it's almost like it's talking like in like the way Yoda talks. You know what I mean? Like all weird. And so it's telling you, it's not assuming anything. It's telling you that's where it put them. It put them into a list called brochures. So I don't know where all this assumes is, but whatever. Anyways, let's go like this. So you see that's all the text that it's telling it to interpret with the code that it has generated, right? I don't know if you guys noticed there was I think it brings in reg, yeah. See the regex? So it preps a bunch of text and then it runs it through regex, which is cool, I guess. I mean, and then it runs it through a function to put it through a dictionary, right? And then the dictionary goes into a table, a CSV file. So let's put the output into the output and see what we get from that. Okay, that was the Python output that I asked it to generate, right? So let's run this. Come on. There we go. Okay, so data has been successfully exported to lease data. So let's go and see what we got. You can see the timestamp here is 8:21, so that's kind of when I'm doing this. Anyways, let's look at the outputs. Now, the first thing to note, I think, is that we have 10 rows. Now, we had 9 brochures, but we saw 2 of them one had more than a dozen and the other one had a little bit less than a dozen. I want to say one had like 8 and one had like 15. So there should have been maybe like 30 records here. So that's the first thing to note. But I think it did a pretty good job. Remember we saw this was the first one that we saw, and I got confused because I was remembering the C and D from this one, but it says that they got various. And then there was this one that had the C and D, so like all this stuff is lining up. Like we can go fact check it a little bit. Let's do that right now. Okay. Alright, let's go to 18 Royal Oak. So what did we get? We got various, yeah, we know that. Does the word various even show up here, or is that the GPT? Various office layouts. Okay. Alright. What else do we have? From 1 to 4. I mean, that's what it says here. Interesting. What else do we have? Market. So the price. So, okay, so these guys didn't quote a rental rate, but that's not atypical. Availability is immediately. Our op costs. Okay, well, that's funny, whatever, but we got them at $9.21. Utilities plus janitorial. It doesn't just get this because I asked it to get operating costs. It found this, and all of this text here, from the perspective of the GPT, will be associated with this label. So that's why we get all of that. What do we have here? Parking stuff. Yeah, it's all coming out legit, folks. Here we have some weird computer stuff because it was interpreting these characters here. And like they actually have an extra apostrophe in there. It's like 3. You know what? I'm going to zoom in so everybody can see. There you go. There you go, folks. See? There you go, folks. Anyways, I apologize, Mr. Avison Young. Anyways, let's keep going. So you can see that this is already fairly interesting, but there are some problems. So let's find one of the ones that had lots, CBRE. Okay, so which one was this? June retail listings. I wonder what's in here. I don't know. None of them are jumping out at me yet as being the one that I don't think it got any of them. Oh. Okay, let's see. 24, no. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think it got any of them. Now, bear in mind, these are just random listings I pulled off the internet. But, I mean, certainly this is a big failure because this is a rich brochure with several dozen listings. And it appears that none of them were caught. And we even have rental rates here. But none of them were caught. So, you know, these are just things to bear in mind as we're experimenting with the data. So let's try a couple of other experiments. Oh, right, let's look at the cost. There we go. So remember it was at $1.38, right? I ran it on 9 brochures and I got accurate but incomplete data, I would suggest, in a spreadsheet. So let's see by how much that figure changes as I refresh. $1.50. So 12 cents, folks. So that was about 1 cent per PDF for these leasing brochures with GPT-4o, right? Now let's try GPT-4o mini and see what we get. And again, just a reminder, $1.50. So we're at $1.50. Okay, so the last one cost 12 cents. We had 9 PDFs, we got 10 records, and the job was incomplete. The records we did get were good. Okay, let's see what we get with ChatGPT Mini. And just so you guys know, ChatGPT 4o Mini is less than ChatGPT 4o. So it's a lesser version, it's a lighter weight version, and it's a cheaper version. And I can also inject more tokens or characters into it in one call. Okay? So let's see what we get. Get some coffee here. Oh, I forgot to check the time on the last one. 28 seconds. So in 30 seconds, folks. 30 seconds, it did 9 in an accurate but incomplete fashion. Oh, yeah, I love coffee. Okay, let's see what we got this time. And something to note, folks, these regex patterns, I was experimenting with this script last night, and it wasn't generating regex to loop through the text. What it was doing is it was explicitly providing JSON with all the records already populated for each record that it found. And so last night, out of like 10 tries, it did it that way, and only once did it provide this regex method. So to see that it's doing that 2 times in a row today is interesting, but I'm still learning, you know what I mean? So let's just see what we get from the output, and see what happens. And then we'll keep reading what they said here. Okay, so the explanation, data extraction, the code uses regex, okay, to find this stuff. Data storage in a list of dictionaries, and then to pandas, and then for CSV output, lease records, okay. Ensure contains the actual text, okay, that the brochures list contains the actual text. Interesting. Maybe that's a good clue. I should go back to that CBRE one and just confirm that all that text from all those 30 listings is actually available. Okay, may need to be adjusted. Okay, whatever. This one took 17 seconds. So remember, folks, we're using the mini, the ChatGPT 4.0 mini. And let's see what we get. Let's see what we get. Let's pull up the other one. We got nothing, folks. This is what we got. So this is what ChatGPT Mini produced. Now, whether that's because the regex is bad or not, let's just take a look. Okay. Add text. What? Okay, there you go. There you go. Okay, so let's go like this. We'll go like this. We'll transfer this to this, and then we'll call this brochures. Yeah, no. Sorry, folks, this was unanticipated. However, this is fairly exciting. Okay, so what do we need? Oh, come on. Okay, so now, come on. All right, let's see what we get. Let's see what we get. Why is it working? Yeah, brochures, no. In PDF texts. Okay, let's go like this. Where else? Okay, I think we might be good. Let's see what we get. Okay. Right. I've got the file open. So it doesn't allow it to be like open, like hijacked by the program because it's in use, right? You know what I mean? Come on. Sweet. Okay, let's see what we got. Which one was it? lease records versus lease data. Okay. Well, another poor showing, folks. And like, this was expected for me because I've already done it. But, you know, we're doing demonstrations here, right? So so it's not only is it like severely lacking, but like the stuff is wrong. Availability, see, like it doesn't know what it's doing, right? It's not smart enough. So that was actually a really cool discovery, to come across one of the thresholds between the mini model and the full model of the most recent models that OpenAI has available. You know, I've been doing a lot of kind of data processing with OpenAI and ChatGPT lately, and so I come across the limitations quite often. But this was a really interesting explicit boundary that is, I guess it's not that explicit, and I guess it's not a boundary because we still don't know where, because the gap was very wide, right? So anyways, let's do another experiment. Let's go back. Oh wait, let's check the cost. Okay, so $1.50, right? $1.50. Okay, so let's refresh. And it's still $1.50. So to run the OpenAI GPT-4o mini model on 9 PDFs and get a garbage result back cost less than 1 cent. So I don't know what that means, but it better mean something. Okay, let's keep going. Let's play with that temperature. Okay, let's go back to the normal one, the one that functions on this job, and let's go to the temperature, and let's give it a temperature of 0.99, because I think it goes from 1 to 0. I'll fact check that later. Let's just see what this does. Boom, boom, boom. Now the real magic here, folks, is that it can get the data accurately from like this stuff, from most of them, without making mistakes. I've tried to do that myself, you know, manually, like scraping PDFs with Python. But PDFs, like they're structured with this weird XML kind of stuff that anonymizes the rows and columns. So that's what makes it tricky to scrape, is because you lose your references because they become generic and homogeneous. You know, like you can't tell it to find the tag that you're looking for if every tag is tag 0. You know what I mean? Like if every column is column 0 or column 0x1 or whatever, then you can't tell it where to find the data that you're looking for. You could come up with complex regex mechanisms, which is what this GPT has attempted to do on several occasions. But go come up with a universal regex. Like, come on. I don't know. I'm sure there are people that do that. I'm not one of them. At least not today, and certainly not yesterday, and probably not tomorrow. Now this one's already taken quite a long time. I wonder if that's got to do with this. Remember the last one took like 35 seconds? What did the mini GPT take? How long did the mini GPT take? 17 seconds. Yeah, the full one took like 28, like 29 seconds. And is this one still going? Yeah, this one's still going. This one's still going, folks. And the only thing that I changed was I put it back to GPT 4.0. And I set the temperature to from 0 to 99. You know what? Let's Google this. What does temperature do in OpenAI API endpoint? And we did get an output after 3 minutes and 20 seconds, folks. 3 minutes and 20 seconds. I don't know if you guys can read this, but 0 to 2, okay. Greater determinism and higher values indicating more randomness. Interesting. Okay, I'll have to read up on that later, and get to know that parameter a bit. Okay, so what did we get? What is all this stuff? My data. Import. Okay, here's the code. Pip install pandas. Certainly below is the code that will process into a structured pandas data frame. Okay. I don't see where it's structuring this into a pandas data frame. I can't help but wonder if it ran into a rate limit. Well, that's unfortunate. Okay, so how, you know what? Maybe that's gonna be a different video. Playing with temperature is gonna be a different video. So there you have it, folks. We saw loosely what it can do. I didn't spend a whole lot of time programming these prompts. You know, I could have added several more. I could have cleaned this up a bit. As I indicated, the wording of this phrase has me really suspicious that it might be impacting brochures like this one and this one that have several listings. Another thing that occurred to me is that I should probably incorporate type here. So thanks for tuning in, and I'll catch you next time.